to be fair, you know, like we know from all our home games here, a lot of teams come down to sit in, and you know, Rovers has a very tight game plan, and you know, I suppose looking from our side, it looked like they were coming for the point or hitting us on the counter attack, and it's up to us to score and create the chances. And I suppose, to be fair, you know, we had a number of chances. It was a tight game, but at the same time, you know, the keeper, in fairness to the young lad, he in fairness to Stephen Bradley, he's kept fit with him, and you know, he made a very good save in the first half from Graham. We were disappointed with a couple of other opportunities that we didn't hit the target. But in the second half, like, you get a penalty halfway through. You know, Kieran has been fantastic at the spotters for us, and Keith made a good save, and then a number of minutes later made a fantastic save from Carroll. So, you know, the onus was on us to score the goal, and unfortunately tonight we didn't, and we're disappointed about that.
Is Mark McNulty going to be okay for Tuesday night?
Everything is very tricky at the moment. You know, probably looking at it the way he is, it's probably against him. But we'll assess the next 3 days. Gary Buckley got a number of stitches in his head as well. So, from that point of view, I think both of them are going to be under pressure. But at the same time, we have a lot of guys coming in off the bench who want to play. Peter Cherry's a very experienced keeper. We're probably fortunate that he got 90 minutes or 80 minutes against Portsmouth the other night. So, at least from that point of view, we have a guy who's well capable of stepping in.
4 points behind Dundalk, is that a concern at this stage of the season?
Not at all. At the end of the day, you can only do your best, and you have to, you know, knuckle down and not feel sorry for yourself. I keep saying that long way to go. The most important thing for us is that we have 10 days now for Europe to see can we give it our best shot, and when we come back then for the run of the league, we must make sure then we get back to taking points, and that's the way it is. You can't do anything about it. You know, these lads are brilliant, they're fantastic guys. You have a night where you have a couple of opportunities to win the match, and it didn't go in, and keep made a couple of good saves, and that's just the way it goes.
Sorry, you just talked about kind of not feeling sorry for yourself there, but Alan was just here and he was saying that maybe that was one of the reasons why you didn't get the result tonight, that you might have been a slight hangover from last Friday. Do you agree with that assessment?
I wouldn't think so, because at the end of the day we had, you know, it was a tough game. Rovers are a very good side, we know that, and we always knew tonight they were going to come and try and maybe frustrate us and hit us on the counter attack. We've done a lot of work during the week on it, and you know, ultimately I think you could see first half we dominated possession of the game, didn't probably create enough, but we still had a few chances. Certainly in the second half we had more to play, but at the same time, you know, we needed to score the goal to open the game up. Yeah. So you know, I keep saying that's just the way it goes. It's frustrating and disappointing from our point of view, but that's football and you move on.
How do you feel about the performance generally? You talked about kind of bouncing back after the Dundalk game. How do you feel like? Do you think this was a bouncing back performance, at least if the result didn't follow?
Well, I think it was difficult, but you can't look at the lads and you look at the effort and desire and everything they've done tonight. They tried to create chances. We missed a few. Their keeper saved us. So overall, it looks like Mark didn't even have a save to make. You know, so you know what can you do? You're working hard to create chances. They play 5 at the back. They make it difficult to play 2 holding midfielders. Very difficult to break down. And you're not in a game like that. Then you're not going to have a lot of chances. So when you do get them, you have to take them. And we just didn't. And that's the way it goes.
Is that a big psychological blow to kind of drop 4 points in two weekends?
No, because at the end of the day, the team have done really well, and I keep saying, you know, it can be a lot of overreaction, because at the end of the day, these guys have gained fantastic thrills to this crowd. It's our 12th game, we've won 11, drawn 1 at home. You know, but I accept there's a bit of frustration with the crowd, because you know everyone has got a bit spoiled because they expect you to win all the time, and that's just the way it goes. And at the end of the day, football is unpredictable, and that's the way the game goes. And you know, I come in tonight and look at the boys and say, could they have done better? Certainly, could we have scored the chances? Yes, but in terms of effort and the honesty, that the desire and the way, the commitment they have for this club, couldn't ask for any more.
Alan was talking about kind of the European break now offering an opportunity to kind of refresh and get over this result. Is that what you were saying to the lads at full time?
Well, I think we haven't played Champions League football at this club in 13 years. We're all looking forward to it. We know we've got the toughest draw that we could possibly have got. So being refreshed and relaxed, I'm unsure about that, because we know we're up against an absolutely phenomenal team, probably the best team in the history of European football that this club has played, bar maybe Bayern Munich. So so from that point of view, but 7,000 people down here on Tuesday night, full house, you know, we prepare properly, and you know, obviously we're a small club, they're a massive club, but you know, at the same time, these lads are brilliant lads, and we'll give everything we have, and we'll see how we get on.
Is it the ankle with Mark? John, it is the ankle injury.
Yeah.
And Colm Horgan is in a brace as well. Is that a long-term thing or?
Don't know. Colm he's on an X-ray, and they're going in for another X-ray on Monday, so we'll assess the situation. Some people are saying maybe 3 weeks. He certainly missed the European campaign, so he's got a knock on his calf. He's damaged his calf muscle, so you just have to wait and see how long he'll be out for.
Given the number of games Mark McNulty has obviously played for the club over the last few years, and the fact that when the club were last in the Champions League, he was subbed to Michael Devine. It would be a crushing blow to him, obviously, to miss out on a game of this magnitude.
Well, Nuts doesn't miss any games, and that's unfortunate for him. But at the same time, from our point of view, the most important thing is to get him back fit, get him right. And if Tuesday night he's not ready, it's a brilliant opportunity for Peter, because at the same time, Peter's an experienced keeper. He's won a league, and he's played in our league a number of years. So to have a guy like him to go in, you have to be happy with that. But yeah, of course, it'll be disappointed for Mark, it'll be disappointed for anyone that misses out. But look, that's just the way it goes.
It's a unique situation as well, obviously, with Tuesday, because you have that safety net of Europa League if it doesn't go your way. But is it important as well to kind of put that to one side, that lads don't see it as a kind of a plan B? No
one see it as a plan B, but you have to be realistic and say that we've got the toughest draw of all the teams. And so if they have 2 players that play in the World Cup. You know what I mean? So they've decided to give them holidays. So it shows you the extent of the panel they have. They signed a striker 2 days ago for a number of million. They signed a defender yesterday for a number of million. It's brilliant for us playing a team that are in a totally different world, totally different level. But you know what? In Europe, the last number of years, we've played teams that have had huge budgets and millions of turnover, been in countries where there's fantastic football industry, and we're in this country fighting against the crumbs. And but we're always brave and we're always decent, and we know how difficult it'll be. But isn't it a great way to be? You win the league and you're playing one of the top teams here on Tuesday night, and you're looking forward to test yourself against them, and that's what we're doing.
John Bray have told all their players they can leave. Do any of them catch a ride to bring to Turner's Cross? Well,
you see, lads, I keep saying, the message obviously going around our city and county is clear. We're a fan-owned club. We need everyone to come in and support. You look at tonight's game, we're probably 2,000 people down on the gate than we normally would have. Summer football probably isn't the best thing for Cork City. We've always seen that the period between June and July and August is always difficult, because with all the other attractions and holidays, we seem to suffer from that point of view. And as I keep saying, I'm a club man. We came into this club. We knew exactly what we had to do. That's why we've done very well within the club, because some managers may have come in 5 years ago, may have not lasted more than 18 months because they wouldn't have understood the structure, the budgets, or whatever. And we work within that. So, bottom line is that we have a commitment to pay all our guys, and unless a couple of guys decide to move on, nothing will be created, and that's just the way it is. So there's no mystery here. We've never had. I think people realise that when we first took over, John Cotterill and myself, in our first season, I think people have forgotten that we inherited 6 players, 2,000 a week budget, and we ended up with 4 amateurs, and we went to the last game of the season. So maybe and we got straight into Europe, and we've been building on that, and that's the way we are, and we will always continue to do that unless there's a change within the whole constitution within the club. But at the same time, we've been through many bad times. This was the way forward. Everyone buys into it. I understand fully the way the club operates. I'm part of the way the club operates, and that's the way. I have no issue with it, because that's who we are.
With the World Cup on, John, was there a case for moving the games to last night, when it was a World Cup free day, rather than competing with Brazil and Belgium quarter-final tonight on TV? Or
there's always that question. Personally, I don't think so. I just think it's one of those things that there's a lot going on at the moment. You're in the middle of holidays. Primary schools got their holidays last week, so you're in that period where a lot of people are. It's the time of the year, July, and certainly to the middle of August, when people are on holidays, and that's just the way it is. There's other sports that are doing well also, and our fan base follows a lot of different games. So, would we have lost maybe a few hundred to sit home to watch the match tonight? We could, but look, at the end of the day, lads, it's Shamrock Rovers at home. It's always probably the biggest attended game, or maybe the second biggest attended game in the last number of years. And tonight was well down the pecking order, which was unusual. And I suppose at the same time, to be fair, people probably haven't got come on Tuesday night. It's probably difficult with kids. You can't afford to go to all the games, and that's just the way it is.
John, you've been obviously this your 4th European campaign there, now at Cork City. Like, what lessons have you taken through the different European campaigns going into next week that you might be able to use, give to the players?
What we the lessons you learn is that basically it depends on your opposition. We've been quite good in that, in the sense the last couple of years we've been able to win a couple of rounds. Last year we won a round, the year before we won 2 rounds, but it's different. We're playing a team that is better than any of the teams played the last number of years. So what you have to hope is that being the first game at home, can you see that prevent them from scoring? Obviously, could you nick one yourself? That would be fantastic. That's just the way it is. It's an experience. But the most important thing for us is make sure that Tuesday night we give everything on the park, we prepare as well as we can, and we give everything on the park and see what it brings us. But it's an incredible tough challenge for us, but we all look forward to it.
Have you been able to scout leisure?
Sorry.
Have you been able to scout leisure?
Oh yeah, so I haven't looked at, to be honest with you, because the week was too important. But we've done, we watched them live twice with people out there who've watched them, so we've all the stuff. So tomorrow we'll be in for 7 hours and we'll do our work, and we'll be in Sunday and we'll be in Monday, and we'll have all the information. We won't be lacking in that department, I'm going to show you.
You'll be making up for all the time you weren't allowed to speak about the game before tonight.
Tonight was a huge game, and we needed to work on things during the week to see could we get the result, and I think overall we did, but we didn't take the chances. And look, when you get a golden opportunity to win the match with 20 minutes or 25 minutes to go and the keeper saves the penalty, then these things happen. If you score, you're probably going to win, and everyone says then everything is great and you work great during the last couple of days, but you move on. And I'm around a long time, and as soon as you celebrate the wins, you have to be able to look at the situation. There are nights that things may not go for you, might miss a few chances, and you can't get too depressed. You have to move on.
Thanks, John.
Cheers.